Israel's journey from a resource-poor, vulnerable state to a technological powerhouse exporting $50 billion in high-tech products annually is a masterclass in turning challenges into breakthroughs. When conventional solutions fail, ingenuity takes over, and that's where Israel's story truly begins. In 1948, sewing machines became artillery shells, and door hinge lathes turned into bullet presses. That's how desperate Israel's situation was during the War of Independence. With British embargoes choking supply lines, Haganah commanders faced brutal math. Their troops fired 50,000 bullets daily, but local workshops could only produce 20,000. Imagine the desperation as a machine meant for household chores suddenly became the hope for survival. Underground factories sprang up in basements across Tel Aviv, where machinists repurposed civilian equipment. A lathe for door hinges now pressed bullet casings. Czech rifles arrived disassembled in coffins, only to be secretly reassembled in hidden warehouses. Farmers melted down plows into mortar casings, sometimes just days before the materials were needed on the front lines. Even drain pipes became grenades, filled with homemade explosives. Every resource was stretched to its limit, driven by sheer necessity. One mission captured this ingenuity in its rawest form. The Lamed Hay Convoy, 35 men tasked with breaking the siege of Jerusalem, welded boilerplates onto trucks to create makeshift armored vehicles. Without military-grade steel, these improvised transports carried critical supplies through Arab roadblocks. Though the convoy didn't survive, their desperate engineering bought Jerusalem precious extra weeks. Out of this chaos emerged Israel's first formal military R&D group, the Science Corps. These weren't career weapons designers. They were university professors, engineers, even a former circus pyrotechnician. Their mission? Build weapons from whatever materials embargoes hadn't blocked. One of their creations, the Davidka mortar, became legendary. It looked intimidating and sounded like the end of the world, but its explosive power was underwhelming. That didn't matter. The psychological effect panicked enemy troops, buying time when Israel had none left. You can still see traces of this mindset in modern Israel. The same principles that turned civilian factories into weapons workshops now drive startups that pivot industries overnight. Back then, necessity forced innovation. Today, that spirit of reinvention is woven into the national DNA. In June 1967, Israel faced a sudden crisis when France imposed an arms embargo, cutting off spare parts for Mirage fighter jets overnight. The embargo, enacted just 3 days after the Six-Day War ended, left Israel's Air Force on the brink of collapse. Mechanics scrambled to keep planes operational, scavenging parts from grounded jets to keep others flying. With French engineers recalled and blueprints taken, Israeli technicians were forced to reverse engineer critical components. Using improvised methods, teams at Israel Aircraft Industries painstakingly rebuilt jet engines and other systems. One maintenance log reveals pilots flying missions during the War of Attrition with fuel systems patched together from agricultural irrigation parts. This crisis marked a turning point. Instead of relying on foreign suppliers, Israel began developing its own weapons. The Kafir fighter program was born out of necessity, becoming the first combat aircraft designed and manufactured entirely in Israel. Engineers combined American J-79 engines with airframes modeled on the Mirage, creating a hybrid fighter that exceeded expectations. Early test flights even used landing gear salvaged from wrecked jets, held together with reinforcement plates. The supply challenges extended beyond aircraft. When Egypt blocked shipments of advanced radar components, Israeli intelligence turned to Bedouin traders. These merchants, accustomed to crossing Sinai checkpoints unnoticed, smuggled radar parts disguised as farming equipment. Copper wiring bundles labeled as irrigation spares passed through Egyptian inspections undetected. This era also saw the emergence of Unit 8200, Israel's elite signals intelligence corps. Lacking military-grade equipment, technicians adapted hospital EEG machines to intercept enemy communications. During the Six-Day War, these makeshift systems provided a critical edge. Analysts monitored civilian radio chatter, piecing together Arab troop movements from truckers discussing road closures and utility workers mentioning headquarters locations. On June 5, 1967, these improvised intelligence tools gave Israeli commanders a decisive advantage. 45 minutes warning before Egyptian jets took off. That head start enabled the Air Force to destroy nearly 400 enemy aircraft on the ground in hours. This transformation, from dependency to ingenuity, laid the foundation for Israel's self-reliant defense strategy, reshaping its national identity in the process. That voice recognition system in your phone? Have you ever wondered where it came from? Surprisingly, its roots trace back to 1990s missile defense systems. Back then, computers needed to understand human speech faster than any civilian technology could manage. When Iron Dome engineers faced the challenge of making split-second decisions about which rockets to intercept, they adapted audio processing algorithms. Those same algorithms eventually became the foundation for Siri and Alexa. This wasn't a coincidence. It was part of Israel's deliberate strategy to bridge military innovation with civilian applications. This pattern repeats across industries. Elbit Systems engineers, while perfecting tank targeting systems, discovered their algorithms could analyze medical scans more effectively than hospital equipment. Today, those battlefield imaging systems are used to detect tumors in hospitals worldwide. Similarly, Iron Dome's radar, originally designed to track incoming rockets, inspired mobilized collision avoidance technology, which now prevents car accidents. Even the firewall protecting your computer owes its origins to Checkpoint Software's early work-blocking Hamas cyber attacks. Some of the most surprising breakthroughs came from failed military projects. For instance, engineers working on a missile seeker had noticed their sensors could detect subtle changes in soil hydration when tests didn't go as planned. That failure evolved into precision agriculture systems that conserve water in drought-prone regions like California and Australia. Another team, tasked with encrypted battlefield communications, accidentally developed data compression methods that paved the way for USB flash drives. The numbers back this up. 78% of Israel's tech exports can be traced directly to military R&D. Waze, the navigation app, began as a military tool for mapping optimal convoy routes. Pill-sized cameras used in medical endoscopies were first designed for reconnaissance drones. Even Viber, the instant messaging app, started as secure military communication software before becoming a global platform. It's a story of technology adapting under pressure, transforming challenges into everyday solutions. Picture this: an 18-year-old debugging missile defense systems worth more than their entire hometown, while their peers elsewhere are just choosing college majors. Israel's mandatory military service has created what might be the world's most intense startup incubator. The IDF hands teenagers access to classified technologies and budgets that would make Fortune 500 CEOs nervous, transforming raw recruits into tech innovators. Take Ehud Levy, for example. After 3 years maintaining Iron Dome's targeting computers, he adapted its machine learning algorithms to predict what movies people would watch. That code became the recommendation engine behind Netflix's top picks. Or consider the trio who built cybersecurity tools to track Hamas operatives. After their service, they founded Wix, now powering millions of business websites. These stories aren't outliers. They're the norm in a system designed to turn military expertise into entrepreneurial success. This talent pipeline thrives because military service forces programmers, engineers, and analysts to collaborate under extreme pressure. About 43% of Israeli startups have founding teams who served in the same unit. These veterans don't just leave with technical skills, they leave with trusted teammates forged in life or death situations. Military buddies become co-founders with pre-tested working relationships, ready to tackle the high-stakes world of startups. The IDF's approach to failure is another key factor. Battlefield tech can't wait for perfection, so developers learn to launch minimum viable products quickly. Missile defense software gets field tested during actual rocket attacks. This fail-fast mentality directly shaped Israel's startup culture. Mobileye, for instance, shipped its first collision avoidance systems years ahead of competitors because its founders understood the urgency of delivering solutions, even if imperfect. Government policy amplifies this effect. Israel funds cutting-edge military R&D, knowing many technologies will spin off into civilian applications. Veterans leave service with security clearances and battlefield-honed skills, ready to innovate. The results are staggering. Military-spawned startups generate over $12 billion annually. In Israel, the same programmers debugging missile interceptors on Monday might be pitching AI startups by Friday, proving that battlefield innovation can seamlessly fuel civilian breakthroughs. In 2006, Hezbollah launched a relentless barrage of rockets at Israel, overwhelming traditional defenses. For every Iron Dome interceptor, there were 100 incoming rockets. The odds seemed insurmountable. Israeli engineers faced a stark reality. They couldn't rely on sheer numbers. They needed a smarter solution. Artificial intelligence, trained on decades of attack data, became their answer. Machine learning algorithms analyzed everything: weather patterns, attack trajectories, even terrorist behavior. These systems predicted which rockets would strike populated areas and which would land harmlessly in open fields. David's Sling, Israel's missile defense system, now makes these calculations in milliseconds. By focusing only on real threats, it intercepted 90% of dangerous rockets during the 2021 conflict, conserving precious interceptors. This same predictive approach uncovered another hidden danger: Hamas attack tunnels. Engineers repurposed seismic sensors originally designed for oil exploration. These sensors detected faint vibrations from digging activities deep underground. Machine learning distinguished tunnel construction from natural background noise, flagging suspicious patterns invisible to human analysts. When troops entered these tunnels, they found them mapped with remarkable precision, thanks to this adapted technology. One of the most dramatic moments came during a drone swarm attack. The military turned to an unlikely hero, a 19-year-old chess prodigy serving in Unit 8200. Known for his uncanny ability to anticipate opponents' moves, he adapted his chess algorithms to predict drone flight paths. His system analyzed 57 variables in real time, calculating attack vectors and directing countermeasures to intercept the drones. The result? A stunning 93% of the swarm was neutralized before reaching its targets. The young soldier's strategic mind turned a chaotic battlefield into a calculated game of moves and countermoves. Now, Israel faces a new frontier: autonomous systems making life and death decisions. AI already identifies targets for precision strikes, processing satellite imagery and drone footage faster than any human team. While these systems achieve 94% accuracy, they raise profound ethical questions about machine judgment in warfare. Israel's journey offers broader lessons. Existential threats can drive innovation. Collaboration between civilian and military research sparks breakthroughs, and investing in young talent creates the leaders of tomorrow. Israel's transformation shows that innovation isn't about resources, it's about resourcefulness. A nation once smuggling bullets in coffins now builds cybersecurity systems protecting global banks. The military that once reverse-engineered jet parts now develops AI to intercept missiles mid-air. Every survival challenge became an opportunity. Failed missile tech now grows drought-resistant crops. This shift wasn't just technological, it was a mindset, treating impossible problems as puzzles to solve. So, here's the challenge. What could your country achieve by viewing its toughest obstacles as fuel for invention? The potential for transformation lies in how we choose to face the impossible. Finally, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share to show your support. Every click helps crack open the next vault. This is Tales from the Time Vault.